Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos, is once again teetering on the edge ahead of this weekend's planned reopening of Lekki Toll Gate, the site of last October's #EndSARS protest, during which many lives were reportedly lost. At this moment, two interest groups are seriously trending on Twitter, where they have been for several days going at each other, exchanging threats and promises of violence over the matter of this planned reopening of the toll gate. Joining us now to look in detail at this situation, especially from the point of view of whether or not the state government has any plans to avert the breakdown of law and order, is Gbenga Omotoso, Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy. We will also bring into the conversation next week's T.H.E.M.E.S Economic Summit, subsisting infrastructural challenges affecting the daily lives of Lagosians, and other issues. Welcome to the program, Honorable Commissioner for Information, Lagos State, Gbenga Omotoso. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Well, quickly, from the introduction, I started with this expressed concern about the planned protest. On one hand, you have the group that is opposed to the reopening of that Lekki Toll Gate. That group calls itself Occupy Lekki Toll Gate. And then you have another group, Defend Lagos. And the fear is that on Saturday, February 13, we could have that particular toll gate being converted into another theater of violence. Now, what steps is the state government taking? What kind of collaboration is it putting in place to ensure that that protest, one way or the other, one side opposing the other one, will not result in a breakdown of law and order in the city of Lagos?
Well, we all saw the carnage that happened in October last year, how some of the iconic buildings that we grew up to know in Lagos went down, how they were razed. We saw how human lives were wasted, people died, including policemen, and nobody prays for that kind of thing again to happen in Lagos. And because of that, the Lagos state government has been suing for peace. We have been meeting traditional rulers. We have been meeting youth organizations. We have been talking to civil society organizations. We have been talking to engaging people we think can influence things for us to not to have the kind of carnage that we had in October last year. Because Lagos, the way it is now, we require the peace that will make us to be able to grow our economy the way it is going. We require the peace for Lagosians to be able to display their creativity, to display all of those things that Lagos is known for, the unity, the camaraderie, the love, and everything. Nobody wants to go back to that October last year scene again. So we are appealing to both sides not to cause trouble in Lagos, to allow peace to reign, so that we can continue to look ahead, to focus ahead on the economic and social issues that are facing us. We have COVID-19 there. We have all manner of things that are coming up that the state government is tackling. And this is going to be a big distraction if we allow it to go on. So we are appealing to both sides to please sheath their swords and embrace peace, and to know that Lagos belongs to all of us and not just protesters. And so many people have said they are receiving no basis for this protest. I have seen what is a member of the panel, Ebun SAN, pushed out, calling for peace, that the panel has not taken final decision on the Lekki Toll Gate or any other matter concerning the EndSARS protest, and that they should calm down, and that this is not the time to go on the street and begin to protest again. Because even as many people have said, two wrongs don't make a right. If you think a wrong has been done, then you don't correct that wrong by committing another wrong. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You're absolutely right. The last thing anybody wants this weekend is two opposing factions clashing. But moving on to next week, let's talk about the Lagos Economic Summit Group, which has returned with T.H.E.M.E.S to continue the public-private sector dialogue in Lagos State. What do you think about that step at this time that Lagos is increasingly becoming an economically significant city in the world?
Well, the Gbenga Summit is a private sector-driven idea, a private sector package idea, a private sector idea that Lagos must improve in terms of its economic infrastructure, in terms of all of the things that can make a great state. And there was a break in this economic summit from 2015 to 2019. And now it is being revived because it is a very important step in all the decisions that we take as a government. Because the private sector people, they have a way of bringing together all talents, all ideas, and be able to put all of these things together and present to the government for it to be able to make policies that will advance the state economically. So Gbenga that is coming up from February 16 to 18 is a continuation of that master plan that Lagos has always had since the coming of civilian administration. And all of the results of that master plan can be seen around us now. And I think this year we are going to have another very good experience because of the caliber of people who are going to be discussing the future of Lagos in the next decade.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I still, want to ask you more about that toll gate incident. What is it, that we are still supposed to know that we have not known as regards that? Because we're getting a lot of feelers, from people about insensitivity, that people died, that, that case is still on at the panel, and then there might be a possible reopening. I mean, what would be, the wish of the government for that place? Is there not going to be any memorial to immortalize the people that died? What is really happening? Tell me something I don't know.
Well, I always do not like to talk about what is going on at the panel because it's going to be, any comment that I make is going to be prejudicial to whatever is going on at the panel. But I would not want to just push aside that question because first, it's like an analogy that I made yesterday at another occasion, that I own a house as a landlord, and then there's a fight in the house, and then the police come in, and the police arrest people, and then shut down the house. And the police sent in their experts to go and look at what happened there. Were cutlasses used? Were guns fired? Were bottles broken? And then the experts that the police have sent in, they have returned. And they have said, well, we have looked at everything. We have filed our report. Now, landlord, you can go back to your house, consult your insurance, see what you can do there, look at the damage that has been done. The toll gate was never shut. And then now you are saying that the landlord has no right to go and look at his house. And like I said earlier, I do not believe that two wrongs can make a right. I mean, you cannot correct a wrong by a right. The Lekki concession company owners of the toll gate, they have, first let me just sympathize with people who may have had one misgiving, ill feeling about that. Because up to now, nobody has concluded that people died at the Lekki Toll Gate. Nobody has said that they have seen any massacre there. There has been no evidence. The panel has not concluded on that. We are still waiting for the panel to be able to tell us that. But then, the Lekki concession company, if the panel says that they are gotten all the facts it needs to get to be able to arrive at a decision, now go back to the place and check it out. The place was never shut down. In any case, if you go there now, vehicles are passing through. That these guys cannot go there and look at it to see what has happened, to see how they can consult their insurance. And these are people who have workers. About 500 people work at a Lekki concession company, and they have dependents. And if we say because there was an incident there, and the investigation has been concluded, forensic experts have been there, and now that they cannot even go back there, They are not saying they are going to be collecting tolls now. From the little that I know as a layman, it's going to take several months to put up the kind of infrastructure destroyed at that toll gate. And if you are saying that they cannot even go there so that they can be able to file insurance claim, so that they can be able to reassure their workers that they will be back at work so that their families will not starve to death, I do not think one is being right by doing that. So that they are going there does not mean that they are going to start collecting toll immediately. And it does not mean that whatever may have happened on October 20th last year at that toll gate, that the government or the panel has glossed over it. No. And I'm happy to say that Adegboru ICN, a member of the panel, has said that, well, the panel has not made any conclusive statement on the matter, and that asking those people to go back there should not spark another round of protest. And I think that is the logical thing to do, to tell people to take it easy, that nothing has been said that should spark another protest. Thank you.
Well, I'll still come back to T.H.E.M.E.S Summit, which starts next week, Tuesday. But before then, Governor Sanwo-Olu has spent more than 600 days now in office. When he was campaigning, when he got into office, he talked about the T.H.E.M.E.S agenda. Now, how far has he been able to deliver on that agenda? And how much effect has the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, had on his ability to deliver on those key promises, considering the fact that in the last 600 days or even more, many state governors, particularly the governor of Lagos, has been very busy managing the pandemic. Maybe you want to tell us some of the things also that the state government has done in that regard. We'll take a break in about a minute, but you can start and then we'll go on that break.
Well, the T.H.E.M.E.S agenda is a 6-pillar structure, development structure that the administration of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos State, has put in place to propel its ideas about the development of Lagos, about the way we should go in terms of infrastructure, in terms of social service, in terms of all of the things that will make Lagos great. And it is all part of what we call the Greater Lagos journey. And so far, so good, I can say the T.H.E.M.E.S agenda has been on track, and it remains on track. Despite the fact that we have had challenges of COVID-19, we have had challenges of NSAS. If you look at the list of achievements of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu as the governor, it's a very long list of great things that Lagosians have been praying for. All the problems about COVID-19, I do not see such things as a bigger problem, because they have been used by Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governor, as a springboard for him to lift up to all those other things that people desire, all those things that Lagosians are praying for that the government should do for them. COVID-19 has tested his leadership, and he has been able to pass that test of leadership. And it has been able to strengthen the administration in delivery of all the things that it has promised Lagosians. In education, we are building new schools, and we are training our teachers. Now,
we need to take a short break.
Yes.
Just stay with us. When we return, the conversation will continue. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the morning show here on the Arise News channel. Still with us is the Commissioner for Information, Lagos State, Gbenga Omotoso, who has been talking about the achievements of the administration and the plans of the Sanwo-Olu administration in Lagos. Now, before we went on that break, you were talking about the governor's T.H.E.M.E.S agenda. If you could be a bit more specific, because there are specific issues of interest. Take transportation. The transportation environment in Lagos is still very chaotic. Fourth Mainland Bridge. When are we going to have that Fourth Mainland Bridge? We hear about red line, blue line. Every day when I'm going around Lagos, I'm looking for color red, color blue. I have not seen those colors with regard to the railway, water transportation. I mean, what are those specific things that we can touch beyond the dynamism that has been demonstrated with regard to COVID-19.
Thank you so much for that question. Like I said, the T.H.E.M.E.S agenda is a 6-pillar structure that encapsulates the development plans of the Biden Sanwo-Olu administration. And if you look at traffic management and transportation that you spoke of, so many things have been done. Take, for example, the junction improvement projects. If you look at Allen Avenue, Lekki, and Ikotun, Maryland, there used to be big roundabouts in all these places. They have been restructured, and now when you go there, you drive smoothly. And talking about all other things, there have been traffic lamps all over the place, and the traffic lamps some of them are even the type that they can record offenses, traffic offenses. So the last mile people don't need to run after anybody who has committed a traffic offense, because the camera can show them what has happened there. And more men have been employed in last mile to control traffic. So, but the thing that people don't look at is what motorists are doing. There are so many motorists who are disobedient to the law. They just drive anyhow, they park anyhow, and some of them are losing their cars now when they are convicted in court and they get their cars auctioned. But when you talk about other pillars of the T.H.E.M.E.S agenda, like health, we have delivered so many things in health. The mother and child hospitals in Etiosa, in Igondo, in Badagry, which we delivered about 3 weeks ago. Badagry people are happy about that. So many other things are going on. And even in health, we are not going to be talking about some of the things that we have done. We are also going to be talking about things we are going to do in future. We are going to be talking about the research center that will be built in Yaba at the Infectious Diseases Hospital. It's going to be the first and the best in Africa. We are going to be talking about the new Massey Street Hospital, which is being built now. We are going to be talking about the mental health center in Ekpe. And we are going to be talking, or as I speak now, hospitals, general hospitals are being refurbished in Ipaja, in so many of our general hospitals that are being refurbished. And of course, all of the feats that LASU has attained, people are seeing all of that. And talking in terms of education, we are building new schools, and our schools are winning, our students are winning awards. And all of the things that we are doing in the education are being fed in the training of our teachers. Our teachers nowadays, they see themselves as digital teachers because they have been provided with handheld devices for them to be able to put together their lesson notes. And all of the things that they are teaching in one school is what you find being taught in other schools. So that there is a uniformity in the teaching of our pupils, unlike before where things were disjointed. And that is being seen in all of the awards that our pupils are winning. And in terms of a road, this administration has constructed and repaired over 350 roads. And more are coming. When you look at the Lekki corridor, for example, the Lekki-Lepe Expressway, the job has begun. That's a road that was touched in the last 40 years. It was built about 40 years ago. We are rebuilding the road now, the regional road that we have spoken of. Then we are talking about the 4th Milan Bridge. I think about 9 contractors have been pre-qualified for it now, and they are going to go into the next stage of picking who exactly is going to build the 4th Milan Bridge. And it's one of the star projects of this administration, which the governor is bent on seeing to conclusion. And then you spoke about the blue line and the red line. I'm happy to announce to you that we have funding for the red line, and it has begun. If you go to Yaba now, we announced that we are going to close the Yaba overhead bridge. It's for us to be able to do soil tests about the red line. The red line, the money that will be used in executing it is already there. And then the blue line, you can see it, the pillars going up every day. They have gone beyond erecting the beam on water now. They have now come onto the surface, and then they are going on. That blue line is going to be moving from Okokomaiko to Marina. And all things being equal, the funding for it is going to be ready very soon. But like I said, the red line that will be moving from Oyigbo to Agbado, taking thousands of people every day, the funding for that one is ready and the work has begun. And I know that before the end of this administration, Lagosians will be able to board train. There will be train services from Marina to Okokomaiko, and there will be train services from Oyigbo to Agbado. And if you look at the new blue buses all over town, we had over 500 of them. Some of them were destroyed during the NSAS process. That's a calamity that we are trying to put behind us. And very recently, we delivered the Abule Egba Oshodi BRT lane. And before, people used to spend 2-3 hours to commute between Abule Egba and Oshodi. But nowadays, you spend like 30 minutes because of
all very good to hear, Mr. Omotoso, because we all know that traffic has been the bane of our existence in Lagos. Now, to go back to next week's summit, you've described it as an important socio-economic and infrastructural planning tool from where Lagos was in 1999. Would you say that the private sector-led participatory forum has contributed to the development of the state?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I do not think that without the master plan that T.H.E.M.E.S has put in the hands of Lagos, that so many things that you are seeing around today will be able to see them. Like I said, it's a private sector-driven initiative. And you know, in the private sector, if there is anything that the private sector is known for, it's about planning. And the private sector has been able to help Lagos to be able to plan. And not just to plan, to be able to check outcomes. And that is what T.H.E.M.E.S has been able to do for us. Some of the things that you see today, the mass transit system, some of the bridges that you are seeing, those beautiful schools that people see nowadays, they are all products of discussions at T.H.E.M.E.S. And what is going to happen this year is that we are taking this thing beyond what it is now. What is going to happen in the next decade. And people are being called from all over the world to join the discussion, to join the conversation. And the most important thing that we are looking at is that should Lagos continue to get it right, Nigeria will get it right. Because Lagos is the heart of Nigeria's economy. Lagos is the engine room of Nigeria's business and commercial power. And that whatever we do in Lagos has a way of affecting other places, because the GDP of Lagos, as you know, is about 84 billion, and that is bigger than what a country like Rwanda.
Mr. Omotoso,
yes.
I do beg your pardon. I'm going to have to ask you to please hold your thoughts. We'll go on a short break, and we'll be right back to take the rest of your answer. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the Morning Show here on Arise News. We're still with Mr. Gbenga Omotoso, Honorable Commissioner for Information for Lagos State. Mr. Omotoso, you were telling us before the break about the strides T.H.E.M.E.S has achieved since inception in 1999.
Yes, like I said, T.H.E.M.E.S is a kind of a marriage between the private sector and the public sector. But it is packaged by the private sector, delivered by the private sector, and handed over to the public sector in terms of policy to execute. So all of the things that you are seeing in Lagos today, they didn't just come. You could be said that T.H.E.M.E.S itself is so magical, because all of the things that you are seeing in Lagos, they are products of discussions, serious discussions at T.H.E.M.E.S. And as I was saying, the people who are coming to T.H.E.M.E.S this year, they are going to maintain that tradition of seriousness. They maintain that tradition of creativity. And most importantly, we are involving our young people. The youth, they will have their voice heard at T.H.E.M.E.S loud and clear this year, because Lagos State government recognizes, the private sector recognizes what they can do in terms of input, in terms of technology, in terms of broad outlook to things that our young people, their talents that they have to show. Okay. And then, but it's going to provide that platform for them this year.
Okay.
So like I said, all of these infrastructural developments we are seeing in Lagos, they are products of Igbeti.
Okay, quite a laudable one, I should say. About two things I'd like to ask. Number one would be about the Badagry Expressway. I mean, what's the state of that road now? It's been on for quite a while. I don't know if you've got any updates. And I just want to ask you, please, what are you doing to ensure safety and security of lives and property over this weekend, this Saturday? Because, I mean, some videos are making around. It's not verified anyway, of some skirmish happening around Obalende. We're hearing things about stray bullets and things like that. It's not verified, I must repeat. But what have you put on ground to at least reassure people that live on that accident and average Lagosian that this weekend everything will be safe and secure?
Well, we are telling an average Lagosian not to panic. People should go about their duties without any fear because the security agencies, they know what to do. They are going to do their job. And I tell you, so many things are going on underground. Security is not something you come on television and begin to talk about and stating details. We have been going around. I spoke about stakeholders' engagement. We've been talking to civil society organizations. We'll be talking to our young people. We'll be talking to traditional rulers and asking them. And parents and guardians, asking them to keep their wards at home. They should not be used as tools to foment trouble. So that all of the economic development we are talking about in Lagos and the right of every Lagosian to be able to move about will not be impeded this weekend. And we are sure that the Lagos State government is on top of the game. And we have appealed to people. We shall continue to talk about peace, that people should not go about, that nothing has happened to spark another round of protests and riots and all of those carnage that we saw that we pray never to see again. And very soon, shortly, my colleague in the Ministry of Justice, the Attorney General, is going to be addressing a press conference and explaining all of these things that are going on to Lagosians and telling Lagosians to remain calm. And we are going to continue our advocacy to tell people to remain calm and that there is no need to go on the streets now. And Lagos is just regaining its strength. And all of the things that were destroyed will take us so many years to build. And the building the minds of Lagosians too is going to take us time. All of the people who are together, Lagos is known for its cosmopolitan nature, for welcoming everybody, for being so warm to everybody. And all of a sudden, this crisis happened. We are trying to find out why it happened. And we are trying to bring back that passion for the development of the state of Lagos that all of us share. How people were able to penetrate that passion and try to destroy it. We are going to try to bring it back by campaigning for peace, by telling people to come together and saying that never again shall this happen. Anybody who has any grievance, we have asked the panel, is there, the panel of inquiry into T.H.E.M.E.S protests and other matters. It's there for people to go there, even if you disagree with the ruling of the panel or pronouncement of the panel on any matter. You have a right to go back there and say, no, you have disagreed. I mean, in modern conflict resolution, dialogue is the main weapon. Nobody relies on violence because violence has no end. Violence, you cannot predict how it's going to end and who is going to be affected. So this weekend, security agencies are going to be doing their job. But Lagos is known for peace, and that peace will continue because we are going to be appealing to people not to go on the street and begin to campaign against anything that they feel bad about. We are going to tell them to be peaceful. We are going to tell them that Lagos belongs to all of us, and we should not do anything to allow people who do not want development of the state of Lagos to come into our midst and begin to destroy things again. So I assure all Lagosians that everything is being put in place, that there will be no disruption to our lives and livelihood this weekend.
The Badagry Road,
remain calm.
The Lagos-Badagry Expressway, how about, what's the state of that now, sir?
Well, the Lagos-Badagry Expressway is, as you know, is a joint project between the federal government and the Lagos State government. We are supposed to take it to LASU gate, and from LASU gate, the federal government will take it on. And I think the problem, to be sincere, is about funding. I think not particularly on Lagos State side, but on the federal side. As I speak with you now, the contractors have gone to the site, and they are working there. It's an ambitious project, about 10 lanes, and we don't even have any choice. We have to complete it. And it's been, the contractors, they are there now, and they are working. Don't forget that the Blue Line 2 passes through that corridor, and there is no way that corridor is going to be neglected because of the sheer number of Lagosians who use that road. And like I said, the contractors are back there, and they are working.
Well, Omotoso, just one final question. I'm sure that, when Rufai asked the question about what the state government will do this Saturday to ensure security at the toll gate, he probably was expecting that you say, well, the state government will make sure that soldiers are not invited to come and ensure security there. And that even the policemen, there will be every assurance that they will not carry either live bullet or blank bullets, and that there will be no escalation in any way. But quickly, I was going to ask you, what is the state government doing about security? The Lagos state government was at some point part of the conversation around the Western Nigeria security network, the Amotekun. But Lagos state is one of those states that is yet to launch its own Amotekun. And yet, every week, every time, we hear about threats, open threats to security in neighboring states. What exactly is Lagos State doing in terms of ensuring that general safety?
Well, like I have said, security is not a matter that you come on television and begin to give the bolts and nuts and the ABC of it.
No, it's Lagos State part of Amotekun. It's Lagos State part of Amotekun. Amotekun. Is Lagos State part of it?
Let me just give you the background to Amotekun. Lagos State is committing money to Amotekun, is committing everything. The law that sets up Amotekun is a modification of our law on neighborhood watch. And neighborhood watch, Amotekun is planned and programmed after the workings of neighborhood watch. And we have always had neighborhood watch that has been there for many years before the thought of Amotekun came. And recently, just last month, about 1,025 men were given to the police to strengthen their constabulary unit. That all of the things that are happening in other states are not happening in Lagos is, whether you like it or not, part of the job that the neighborhood watch is doing. So if it's just a matter of name, and people want us to change neighborhood watch to Amotekun, I do not believe that is the main essence of the whole concept of Amotekun. The main essence is for protection of our lives and property, and that is being assured in Lagos. And so long as the neighborhood watch is working, I do not see why a matter of nomenclature, name it Amotekun, name it any other thing, should be the question. The question should be securing Lagos. And I assure you what is going on now, Lagos is being well secured. We have Lagos State Security Trust Fund, the first of its type in Nigeria. Through the Lagos State Security Trust Fund, there is an arm of the police that are here, our security unit called RRS, Rapid Response Squad. Rapid Response Squad is being well funded. They have everything that you need for you to be able to do security job in Lagos. They have vehicles, they have all other things that they need. And then we are cooperating, cooperating with the police about security of Lagos and other security agencies. The Security Council of Lagos meets almost every month to review what is going on. And if you look at the way that the police are reporting their activities, how they are rounding up criminals every day, you will see that that security architecture that we have is working. So for anybody to say that Lagos is not part of Amotekun, that is out of it. It's not the point. Lagos is funding all of the structures that they have in the Amotekun concept.
Okay.
Lagos is committing money to it, is committing ideas to it and everything. So we are part of it.
Okay, so what you just said is that Lagos has neighborhood watch, not Amotekun, because we all know what Amotekun is, and it's different from the neighborhood watch. I'll take it as that. But real quickly, oxygen scarcity, COVID-19 beds, taking up every space in Lagos hospitals as we speak today. What is government doing to ramp up number of beds with oxygen, to ramp up isolation centers, to ramp up care for people with COVID-19? Because they are not getting hospital beds any longer. People are dying in Lagos.
Well, the oxygen crisis that you are talking about was real a few weeks ago. Our hospital in Yaba, the IDH, at a point needed 90 bottles per day, 90 cylinders per day, to be able to take care of patients who are coming down with breathlessness. But I am happy to announce to you that since the installation of an oxygen plant in Yaba, that problem has disappeared. The oxygen plant in Yaba that has been installed is working, and it can produce 90 cylinders per day. It can produce 60 cylinders per day. And because it produces all day round, the gap that is left is being bridged. And then there is the logistics plan that enables the private sector people to bring in oxygen wherever we need. And then when we were closing down some of the isolation centers, when the first wave gave way a little bit, we said at that time that we were not going to just allow another second wave to come and we will remain unprepared. So we didn't shut down all of the isolation centers like that. We gave room for the activation of the isolation centers. And at least 3 of them have been reactivated now, so that patients are going in there. And then the oxygen plant in Lasut is being revived. And then the isolation center in Bagada is also, it has been opened. So there is all of the talk about the oxygen being scarce. Most of the time is people call me to say I should make representation for them, that there are people in Yaba, there are people here who need oxygen. And only for me to even go there personally on one occasion to find out that it's all a rumor. There may be 1 or 2 cases that people may require oxygen and they don't get, but this is not something that is general.
Well, point well made. Thank you very much, Gbenga Omotoso, Commissioner for Information, Lagos State. Thank you for joining us.